Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny and here we are on the patio underneath the fantastic rose arbor that is filling in quite nicely. We thought that we would take you on an updated tour of this space. Again, you have been with us from the very beginning before this was only, well, when this was only just a concept, right? If you've watched us, you know that we have been planning for this big party that we are going to have. Well, the party is this weekend, so we have 2 days left to prepare for this party. It has been quite an adventure in the fact of all sorts of things have happened. So we're going to kind of give you an update because you know we keep things real on here at Gardening with Creekside. So before I get any further, we are getting ready for our September front porch chat and we need you to submit your questions to us. So in the comments below, you can ask us any kind of question that you want, whether it's about gardening, the business, our family, whatever, and then we will pick questions and we will do that with our front porch chat. So leave those in the comments below. Okay. We've had 2 hurricanes come through since the last time we were here in this space. The most recent one was just yesterday afternoon, and that was Ida that came through. We were not anywhere near the big parts of her. We just got those outer bands, got some much needed rain. It was great. Everything was fine until yesterday about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it was literally the last bit of what we call the tail of the hurricane came through, and man, it poured buckets and the wind went crazy. The nursery's fine, all those plants are fine. What got damaged were my big gorgeous containers that I had been babying all summer. So as we go through, I will show you and explain to what happened with that. Also, when we were in Michigan doing all of those tours, another part of a hurricane came through. We had a short in the landscape lighting and it fried all the landscape lighting. All those under lights underneath the seating wall and the steps, toast, gone, done. So we have had to redo all of the landscape lighting minus the up lighting, the spotlights, and then you will see that we got the pathway lights. Those were not hooked up yet. So again, lots of information to give you. So we're going to walk through. You can see we have, these are the pathway lights, and yes, the cords are still showing. I've got 2 days before the party, folks, and so there's a lot on the to-do list to do. These are really simple because they just stick in the ground wherever you want, and then of course you can see we have the cords running back all to the main hubs. When we had to redo the landscape lighting, Jerry got different or some additional ports, plugins that these will all attach to, so we can easily expand this landscape lighting if we want. So the pathway lights are, there's about, I believe, 6 of them on this part of the path, and we're going to show you what they look like all lit up. Generous Gardener Rose is doing fantastic, as you were able to see. All of this is doing well. You can see though some of this Angelonia, when the wind came through, I mean, it just was massive winds. So it is a little disheveled, but you know what? We're gonna go with it. It's just, we're gonna go with it, you know? But everything else is doing really well. I had put in these pentas 2 weeks ago to give me a little pop of color. They have bulked up quite nicely, got nice and green. We've got some good color on them. They're not in full glory, but they've got enough color on them to make me happy. Caladiums are still hanging in there and doing quite well. And then this part of the bed is doing great again. This Vinca is doing amazing. So this is, I'll put the name up on the screen because I don't remember exactly what it's called. Soiree Pink, I believe. It is doing great. Then we have the little quickfire hydrangea who is putting on her fall colors. And then of course our beloved white chiffon Rose of Sharon that I have dubbed Rose of Christine because Christine gave it to me. This is her first year in the ground. Nice and big. I have noticed, again, she was nice and upright before we got those winds. So just a little heavy, blooms on new growth. So if you wanted to prune it back a little bit, you could, just to kind of take the weight off so it would go up. It's doing great. Now, moving on over here, when we put in these David Alston roses, I know a lot of you were saying that we needed something on this wall. And again, this is my first year growing roses. Didn't realize kind of quite how wild and woolly they were going to be. So I got these 3 obelisk from Kinsman Garden. You know how much I do adore Kinsman Garden Company. I'll link it down below, but they come in sets of 3. These are their small obelisks, and so you can use them for just about anything. I've got 1, 2, and then I will tackle this one tomorrow. This is the Scepter d'Isle. It is a beautiful rose. Jerry, come here. I want you to show them this beautiful pink rose. It's exquisite, but it is definitely the most vigorous. So she's going to have to be tamed down just a little bit, especially to get us inside of this obelisk. When I ordered them, they said they were back ordered till the end of September, and I was like, well, that's fine. You know, I'll just put them on there once they go dormant the winter. Well, lo and behold, they came early, so we've kind of had to wrestle them in there. The Angelonia is, again, everybody was looking great until these big, huge winds came in, and they were just so vigorous that they kind of opened up. So my sweet mama has been helping me kind of thin some things out so that it's not so crazy looking. So you kind of see this, and then you look down here that's been untouched, and you can't even tell like that there's a boxwood or camellia in there. So we're just kind of thinning these out. Again, you know, Diamond Mountain, this is one Diamond Mountain, and it has just gone crazy. I will tell you also, so remember you saw me do the deck boxes and I pruned them back really, really severe. They have done really well. Some of the plants didn't make it, the super bells, some of them just were too far gone. So I pulled them out, and then I went back in and I filled in some of the empty spaces. So I grabbed a couple of caladiums, chocolate drop coleus, and then pentas. And that's all I added. Now I added them obviously with multiple plants, but this is the same penta that's in the ground where we just were. So that, you know, ties all that in. That chocolate drop coleus is just an amazing, very vigorous trailing coleus. I'm loving it. And then of course the caladiums just bring that in as well. So those boxes have really filled in. I planted this maybe a week ago. And so they were very happy to get out of their pots and into these deck boxes. Something else that we have done, again, if you need a project done, host a party, because it'll force you to get everything done chop chop. So these steps are in. We still have to add tomorrow morning, finish up the caps. Will come all the way down. Don't worry, this is not going to be left exposed. We've got the caps to put down. Obviously we're going to have to cut some, so those are going down. We added the flagstone right here. We didn't want the grass coming straight up because we've got this bed right here. Now this part of this area, this bed, was a weed nightmare. It looked awful. We had morning glories growing up. It was just disastrous. We'll probably go ahead and plant this at some point. Not doing it now, but this is just to show you, if you have a big weedy area and it looks out of control, get the weeds out and put some fresh mulch down. It cleans it up, it tidies it up, and it looks great. This tea olive right here is doing magnificently well. It will not be long before she is in bloom, and we will have some delicious smelling blossoms on her. Again, we'll landscape this at some point, but for now it's neat and tidy, and that's all I care about. Now, what I was sick over with Ida coming through yesterday afternoon were my urns, because look at this footage. I was on the back porch in the little corner taking this video of the wind and the rain that came through. And my poor urns, these grasses just basically split wide open because of all the wind and the rain, and they just can't handle all that. And they were just, I mean, they just, oh, you know how much I have babied these things all summer long. So what my mama and I did this morning was we took, this is the same little black tubing that I use for the roses, and basically we cinched up the grass like a big ponytail. It was starting as the sun was coming up and getting on it and it was drying out. It was starting to come back up, but I want to make sure that these are really upright and not horribly floppy like they were right after the storm came through. So the idea is we're going to leave the tubing on all through tomorrow and probably up till Saturday morning, and then we'll cut it, and we're hoping that they'll be more upright. We just thought they needed just a little bit of help to stand up. Once they dry out and get the sun on them, then hopefully they'll be more upright, because I just can't replace these. If I took out the grass, the whole thing's going to come out, and these things are just gorgeous and beautiful, and I do not want to lose them until Sunday morning. If they go Sunday morning, fine. They get me through Saturday night. Now, the next big event that we have done is the steps. The steps are now finally going in. And again, because of all the landscape lighting had to be replaced, these are the under the steps. We couldn't do the steps until we got the lighting situated. The lighting is all done, and we've started to put the steps in. If you've watched this, you know that these are the different steps than what we showed you last time. Because thanks to COVID and all the other stuff, those nice big pieces, those steps that we had, we couldn't get any more. So we had 2, but we have 5 steps. So we had to go to plan Z. It's not even plan B anymore, it's plan Z. So what we did is we went with a dark gray coping on the edge. Then we went with a gray, it's this exact block but a different color, and so it's gray. And so we're going to work our way up. Jerry got the first step in this afternoon, so those are in. We're going to be out here first thing early tomorrow morning to get the rest of them done. Those will go in, and then of course, don't fret, all the caps will go on the steps. So this will all be covered. This is not the final product, trust me. So like I said, I've got 2 days left to do all those little nitpicky things. Like I'm going to clean up my caladium hanging baskets. You know how it is. You got to wash the porch off, doing all these things, because we are hosting this party. Basically, it's a wedding shower, but it's co-ed and it's for couples, so we're calling it a wedding party. Now, they're not having the wedding here, but this is our sweet, beloved Rylan and Mary Claire. They both have worked for us for several years. They were dating before they came to us, so we can't claim that we were, you know, the matchmakers, but they are getting married, and they are just precious, precious people to us. And so we want to celebrate their upcoming marriage, and we're just going to have a grand old time out here fellowshipping and eating and celebrating their upcoming nuptials. I am the hostess with the mostest, and I want to make sure that everything is just so. So that is the plan. This is what we're going to do. Of course, I will take some pictures once we have it all set up, and we'll probably come back through and do a final grand reveal once everything is put together. But we are going to show you what the space looks like lit up with all this great new landscape lighting. So stay tuned for that. Jerry's going to get the drone out and have some fun with that. But as always, thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. The adventure of the patio continues. Hopefully we're almost done with the adventure of the patio. Jenny's ready to be done. It'll be almost, what, 2 years since this fall that we actually began this whole idea of this project. We've come a long way. We're ready to wrap it up and get on with it. As always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a fantastic day. Put your questions in the comments below. See you next time. Bye, friends.